but I still want you.
정국아 사랑한다.
오래오래 사랑하세요, 비정국 씨.
Hi again. It's very uncommon for me to do two voiceovers right after another, but as I was working on this analysis, I noticed that the best way to explain it and keep it short is by using my voice. So hopefully you're okay with that. This theory is going to be a bit complicated, so please watch carefully until the very end, or you might not understand it fully. First of all, hopefully you all already watched Taeyoung's new song called Winter Beer by now. If not, I'll link it down below so you can watch it. It's very beautiful. I've been listening to it non-stop. I really love it. Please show it your love and support as much as you can. First thing I noticed was how similar the video and its style was to Jungkook's GCF. Apparently I wasn't the only one who thought that way, because after I mentioned it to some of my friends, they were like, hey, we thought the same way. The coloring of the video, the way it started and ended, the way it was edited, it reminded me so much of the videos Jungkook usually films or edits. So I checked the credits under the video, but I couldn't find any for who filmed it or who edited the video. It was odd because if it was anyone in particular, we would know who it was. Unless it was Jungkook, because we all know by now that every time Tae and Jungkook do something together, we barely see it or we don't see it at all. Tae actually thanks Namjoon for helping him on the post he tweeted right after releasing the song, but he didn't really mention for which help. But since the song was full in English, and in that post Tae also mentioned that it was his first time writing an English song, and from what we know, Namjoon doesn't even edit videos, but he's really good in English. It was probably on writing the English lyrics. Except for Jungkook, we know that Jimin also edits videos to some extent. But Jimin mentioned Tae just showed them the song while they were still doing concerts, but he didn't mention anything about helping him on edits or even filming. That's when I remembered this video from Mama 2018, which happened on December 12th. Jungkook mentioned that he wanted to do an MV with his Golden Closet film, and Tae said he wanted to take pictures for the same MV. It's interesting to know Jimin mentioned that Tae started working on Winter Beer at the beginning of this year, and Tae said it probably was around February, but he wasn't really sure. So we know that Taekook were planning to do a music video together on December. 2 or 3 months later, Tae writes a song that needs a music video, so timing actually matches. On a live that Jimin did, he mentioned that Tae had to wake up very early to film. We know that he couldn't film himself taking pictures, so someone who was close to him must have followed him almost every morning. And that person must have been very close to Tae to a point that it would be normal for them to share rooms, because there was also this part of the MV where Tae was asleep in his hotel room and the person was filming him. So Jungkook, one of the only members who edits videos and takes videos constantly and has a similar style of filming and editing to what we saw in Winter Beer, who is very close to Tae and were said to share rooms together sometimes while they were on tours, seems like the most possible person who could help Tae with filming and editing his video. They already said that they were planning to do one together anyway. Whoever it was must have been a bit tired during the whole timeline, since they had to wake up early with Tae every day, right? Interesting fact, in Memories of 2018 we realized that during concerts that happened at the end of January or the beginning of February, Jungkook was extremely tired. I don't know about you, but everything matches with his perspective. So it's very natural to say the person who helped Tae with filming and editing the MV was Jungkook. But that's not all. After digging a bit more, I realized that maybe MV wasn't originally filmed for Winter Beer. I think it was filmed for scenery. I know it might seem a bit strange, but hang in there. I'll tell you exactly why I think that way. First, let me mention something that was said on Jimin's V-Live. Hoseok asked Tae if it was the third song that followed 4 o'clock and Scenery, and Tae said yes. It was a bit odd for me because these weren't the only songs Tae produced or wrote. Hold Me Tight, anyone? He even talked about how he got it under his name because it was his song. They weren't his only solo songs either. Tae wrote Stigma's lyrics himself and helped on the melody as well. It made me think that maybe it is also a continuation of his other 2 songs. If you hadn't checked them out yet, I made 2 more videos about both 4 o'clock and Scenery and why I thought Scenery was part 2 of 4 o'clock and the relation it had with Jungkook. Feel free to check them out to understand this theory better. But to summarize it all, 4 o'clock was the first part of the series. Tae mentioned that in 4 o'clock once he was talking to a bird about the moon. Since he mentioned that the song was mostly about Jimin, and we know that Jimin's animal signature is a bird, we figured that he was talking to Jimin about the moon, who was another character of the story. Let's read the lyrics once to understand it better. The lyrics said, "One day I wrote a long, long letter to the moon. It would not be brighter than you, but I lit up a candle." So until here, he's saying that he told a character called Moon something, and it was some sort of hope for him because even though it wasn't really that bright, but it was something. It continues and says, "At the dusky dawn, a bird starts singing, 'Where are you? Why are you crying? Me and you are the only ones here.'" So the bird is Jimin from what we noticed. And that's when Jimin comes and tries to comfort him. He's like, "Hey, why are you crying? Me and you are the only ones here." And as they talk, it follows as, "Following the deep night, the sound of you singing brings the red morning step by step. When the dawn passes and the moon falls asleep, the blue shades that stayed with me disappear." So basically it says that before it, he was filled with blue lights of the moon, but moon goes away, he loses the moon, and that's why he becomes red. And it's interesting because if you've known about or read in Blue Theory from before, Tae and Jungkook used to associate with these colors a lot. But bottom line of this song is that basically he loses someone called Moon, and that's why he's very sad and Jimin comes and comforts him. I think the moon is Jungkook, and I've brought a lot of reasons for it, but the most important one is that he himself called himself a moon, and even Namjoon did, and he's been associated with that a lot. When Scenery came out, he also uploaded a picture he drew for it, and there were footsteps on a snow and a tree and a big moon with mustaches on top of it, which showed that moon was also an important part of the song as well. As we read the lyrics, we realized that in the song, Tae was trying to be happy with someone and taking pictures of all the sceneries to keep them in his heart. Then he says that his emotions were still on the same park that the moon was shining upon. It's referring to the same night that he lost the moon in 4 o'clock, and says this song goes to you, hence the moon that he lost in that park. Then he says that he's wondering what will happen in the next story, that he just wants to make the person that the song was for, aka the moon, his. He says that his heart is regretful for not taking pictures of that split moment and not keeping it to himself or losing it. That's why he keeps collecting pieces of moonlight again to make a full moon again and ask the person to be with him the same way he was before. At the end, he asked the moon to leave its footprints for him, to keep it in black and white, and for him to follow it. These were what we got before, and we were waiting for the next part of the story, like Tae mentioned in Scenery. which matched together very well. But here is the reason I think Tae's MV was actually originally made for scenery. First of all, look at how well the lyrics and the video match together.
꽃들이 가득한 거리에 오늘 또 그대를 보내요 내 안에 삼켜질까 새벽달이 지난 공원에 지금 내 감정을 담아요 이 노래 그댈 향해요 하늘땅에 비춰진 필름의 소리를 들어요 그 찰나의 시간에 그 모습을 놓친 내 마음이 아쉬워해 달빛 조각 하나하나 모아 조명을 만들 테니 어제와 같은 모습으로 내 앞에 와주세요 Still wonder, beautiful star. Still wonder the sky. I still wonder the sky. I want to make you mine. 자국 남기고 떠나가시면 제가 그 온 길 지킬게요 흑백 속에 남길게요
Taeyang mentioned that the lyrics of Winter Beer came to him because he was watching a movie called About Time. It's interesting to know that Jungkook also mentioned before that it's one of his favorite movies. The movie is about a boy who goes back in time. It's similar to how time went back in the MV, or how Tae wished for the time to be repeated in scenery. That's why it makes me think that they either filmed the MV for scenery and decided to use it for Winter Beer, or the similarity happened because Winter Beer was actually the continuation of scenery and 4 o'clock. It's also interesting to know that Tae used more than one perspective in the song. For example, he said, "She looks like a blue pearl, will you come fly with me?" Which was very interesting to me. Another thing that I have to mention is that the video didn't have Big Hit logo. If Big Hit crew really were the ones involved with it, they'd use the Big Hit logo like they always do. And another thing that I need to mention is that during the times that they were filming, people saw them outside and they even described how they looked or what they were wearing. You can pause to read them all. I mean, just put these two together, the similarity is evident. Anyway, yeah, as always, remember that these are all theories. It was a fun analysis for me to do, especially since a lot of things were pointing out to it. But we can never be sure of the exact facts. Please show the song so much love, because no matter who is behind it or who filmed it, it was a masterpiece and it deserves lots of appreciation.